Last week's ousting of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban prompted a goodly amount of where did it all go wrong political obituaries, noting that there was a time when Orban, latterly a dour, miserable nationalist authoritarian, had been perceived as the future of a promising, outgoing, liberal Eastern Europe. It is not yet the time to read the last rites over the career of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, but when it is, it seems likely that they will cleave to a similar tone of perplexed disappointment at his somewhat similar trajectory. Ahmed became Prime Minister in 2018, aged just 41. Abiy presented as a former soldier and intelligence officer, a Christian convert, and a reformer who sought to unlock his country's colossal potential, suppressed too long by dismal ideology of one sort or another. He freed thousands of political prisoners, unshackled the media, abolished a long-standing ban on opposition parties, and sought better relations with Ethiopia's former province-turned-fractious neighbour Eritrea. In 2019, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The Abiy Ahmed of 2019 might have been surprised to be told that the government of the Abiy Ahmed of 2026 would be widely perceived as at least partly the inspiration for what can most certainly be heard as an album of protest songs by a popular musician. But power, as history frequently instructs us, does funny things to the people upon whom it is bestowed. The popular musician in question is Teddy Afro, although in Ethiopia the word popular undersells his status somewhat. In Ethiopia and among the Ethiopian diaspora, Afro is a colossus. His wife, the model-turned-actor and director Amlaset Muchi, is scarcely less famous. Late last week, Afro released Ethiopia, his first new album of original material in 9 years. It took the lead track, Das Tal, around 48 hours to clear 10 million plays on YouTube alone. It is unclear whether or not Abiy Ahmed was among those tuning in. It does seem the case that his government has made futile and likely counterproductive efforts to dissuade others. According to local media reports, the press conference at which Afro planned to formally announce the release of Ethiopia was mysteriously scuppered, for all the harm that seems to have done the record. It would not be the first time that Afro had tangled with Ethiopia's authorities. Before and since Abiy Ahmed's arrival in power, Afro has repeatedly had concerts and other events cancelled for extremely vague reasons. The Addis Ababa launch party of Afro's previous album, 2017's Ethiopia, which eventually topped Billboard's World Album Chart, had its plugs pulled by the police. Between 2008 and 2009, Afro was imprisoned over a drink-driving offence, a charge he has always insisted was part of a political vendetta waged by the government of the time. Afro's song, Yasta Serial, had become something of an opposition anthem. Last year, Afro was unwittingly involved in the kind of controversy emblematic of this wretched epoch. An anti-Ahmed ballad by Afro launched on Facebook turned out to be an AI-generated fake. Ethiopia is genuine, however, and is generating the kind of excitement that could well make a certain sort of government nervous as it anticipates a general election, as Abiy Ahmed does in June. Granted, Ahmed and his Prosperity Party would have to have an extremely bad day to lose office. They currently hold 457 of the 547 seats in the House of People's Representatives. But they will likely not be delighted by the prospect of voters strolling to the polls, humming tunes lyrically preoccupied, as those on Ethiopia appear to be, with disillusionment. Das Tal, that opening track, is an allusion to the pitching of a traditional Ethiopian mourning tent. The lyric is an elegy of sorts to Ethiopia itself, or at least the Ethiopia that Afro and others might have hoped Ahmed was going to deliver. When pressed on his politics in the past, Afro has tended to be astutely cautious, and at any rate his views tend mostly towards the enthusiasms for peace, love and fraternity common among professional microphone clutchers, though with some local twists. A 2020 single, Demo Bi Abiy, was a repudiation of Egypt's proprietorial claims over the Blue Nile River, an attitude shared by Ethiopia's government. A couple of more recent tunes, Amash and Nayet, have been interpreted as critiques of the war Abiy Ahmed launched earlier this decade between Ethiopia and rebel forces in the restive province of Tigray. Previous Afro albums have exhibited a fond Golden Ageist nostalgia for the Ethiopian emperors Tewodros II and Menelik II. Though both were arguably unifiers, they didn't do it by asking nicely. It is usually unwise for listeners to get over-invested in the idea that song lyrics are a plausible policy manifesto. They're not, and it's not their job to be. It is equally foolish for governments to engage in any way with an artist having a pop at them, however famous the artist. It's one of those things which looks bad because it is bad, especially when a government is responding with authoritarian overreach to accusations of authoritarian overreach. It also tends to do wonders for record sales. For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Muller.